Hey guys, welcome back to the film set. I'm Ray Valencia, and this is the VAXIS ATOM A5. This is a monitor, wireless video transmitter, wireless video receiver, and recorder all built into one device. So let's get into it. I've been using this ATOM A5 wireless video kit for about a month now on all kinds of projects like product shoots, vertical videos for social media, commercials, and promo work, and I've really had the chance to run it through its paces. So let's take a look at what I've learned. So every once in a while, a new innovative piece of technology will come out, and today is no exception with this new A5 monitor. So this monitor actually has built-in wireless video transmission system, so you see the two antennas on here can connect with another A5 monitor. So if you have two of these, they can communicate with each other, one as a transmitter, one as a receiver, and vice versa. So you can see both of your cameras from each monitor if you switch to HDMI in. And this monitor pairs up with the existing VAXIS ATOM system. I have the VAXIS ATOM 600 here, and it pairs up perfectly with the transmitter here, or vice versa. I could transmit from this monitor or camera to this monitor, and I could take this handheld or walk around with it or whatever I want. So the fact that you just have the versatility to switch between HDMI in or transmitter or receiver is just awesome for me. All right, so just very quickly, let's take a look at what comes in the kit. You get the high-speed HDMI cable and the two antennas and the monitor itself. These are the antennas you will connect for wirelessly transmitting or receiving to your other wireless units. And you can record internally straight out of the box because it comes with a 32GB micro SD card. This monitor is a 5.5-inch LED display and has 1000 nits of brightness, which is plenty bright to use out in the broad daylight. Although I wish it did have a sun hood that you could attach to it, but maybe that'll be an accessory in the future. More on that in just a bit. Another cool thing you could do with this system is use it as a wireless follow focus unit, because I have the ATOM 600 transmitter actually on the camera over there, and I can be over here wirelessly pulling focus from a distance. So that's really cool as well. And this system actually reaches up to over 500 feet. And I have the ATOM 600, so I should be able to get closer to 600 feet with my system. Here is my wireless follow focus unit, and you can attach a lanyard on here or a neck strap, and you're just totally wireless and easy to pull focus on this thing because it is very bright. The latency on this system is really low, fast enough to pull focus on, although I don't recommend pulling focus on the app. The advertised latency is 0.8 seconds, which comes out to around 80 milliseconds. This is what that looks like in real time on the FX3. In ideal conditions like this, I was able to get a little bit better results than that. Transmitting from the A5 to a receiver, I was able to get about 26 milliseconds, and transmitting to the A5, I was able to achieve about 30 milliseconds. I like that there's a lot of power options on this monitor too. You're not just limited to one, but you have two NPF battery slots if you want to power this for even longer. You also have a DC in port. You can also power the monitor through USB-C, and you can output power through this DC out port. On this side, you have HDMI in and HDMI out if you want to go out to another device. And you also have a headphone jack. Up top, you have the power button, as well as 3 function buttons here that you can customize for whatever you like. And your first AC is able to record proxies right here on the monitor, which is really cool. And you can just pass off this micro SD card to somebody on the shoot, and they can immediately start editing some videos for social media or dailies or something like that. And you can also record your camera settings by enabling your HDMI info display. The ATOM A5 records all of the video files internally onto the micro SD card in the MP4 format, and you can use these files for whatever you want. And actually, all of these files right here that you're looking at are recorded internally in the monitor, and I have upscaled them onto a 4K timeline because all the clips are recorded at 1920 by 1080p. So the cool thing is also that this system supports multiple receivers. So if I step away from the producer monitor and I need to just walk over and adjust something on set, I can always refer to the VAXIS app and just look at it right here on my phone, because this system supports Apple and Android in this app. And this is how you connect to the app. You go into your phone's Wi-Fi and connect to the SSID that it lists here. Then whenever you go to log in, you use this information and password to log in to the app for the first time. And then after that, you can simply just scan this QR code and connect to it manually. And it'll tell you right here whenever you're paired with that. Whenever I'm doing a product video, I'm often filming on something like this Dana Dolly, where the camera needs to move back and forth, and just having the freedom of not having any cables and being able to transmit video straight from the monitor is great. So prior to the A5, I was running with a setup like this, where I would have a wireless video transmitter hooked up on the back of my monitor. So this just eliminates one more thing. It's all built into one unit. To access all your recordings, all you have to do is hit the play button down here at the bottom, and now you can access everything you have in the monitor, and you can refer to these at any point. You can also go in here and change the way you name all of your files. If you don't like the AABW code on here, you can make that whatever you want, your name or whatever you like for that. You also can go in here and see the full list of all your recordings if you'd want to access them that way. You also have all the professional features that you would need in a director of photography's monitor, such as the exposure tools like waveform, RGB parade, histogram, and vector scope. Under this photo video menu, you have different markers, anamorphic guides, and you can take photos and record right here manually. This monitor also supports pinch to zoom if you need to jump in close and take a look at your focus or something in the frame. Next, you have some of my favorite tools for shooting, which is false color, peaking, zebras, and the false color is really helpful on a lot of my shoots. I like it to see exactly where the exposure, especially on the skin, and where my highlights are, because I don't want anything blown out in the shot, especially not on my subject's skin. For those of you that aren't familiar with false color, it actually shows you the exposure levels for each part of your image, so you can tell which parts are overexposed because those will be red. You can tell which parts are underexposed, and you can see which range you like your skin tones to land in. So I use false color all the time. It's one of my favorite tools, and I actually have it set to one of the shortcuts on the top here as my first shortcut. So I really like using that a lot. So that's my favorite tool to have on there. And I also have peaking set up under my quick functions, and you can customize that here by the color and the sensitivity and everything for that on there. To set your custom functions, you go into this gear icon and get past the different display options and settings, and you go over to function here. This is where you can actually select whatever you want to be your 3 custom functions at the top. Underneath this little color wheel, this is where you have all your LUTs, so you can load up to 5 different LUTs on here, and you do that through the micro SD card. One thing I wish could be improved is just a couple different mounting options on here. Maybe they could have moved this USB-C port down a little bit lower, and then you could put another 1/4 20-inch thread right there. So just having limited options on here was a little tricky whenever I wanted to do a vertical video shoot. So I ended up mounting it this way, like you can see here, where I had the phone app actually transmitting upside down. So I had to flip my phone upside down to get it to actually display the image right, just because I had limited options on the way that the camera was mounted. I suppose I could have went through a little more trouble and rigged it up differently, but just having the limited mounting options, maybe one more on the side and it would have been perfect, or maybe even somewhere on the back if that was possible. But other than that, really great, really solid. One negative I would say is that the VAXIS app has quite a bit of latency to it, and the receiver is actually perfectly smooth, very high quality. But if you want to use the app, I recommend just using this as a reference if you happen to step away from your producer monitor or the camera and you just need to refer to what the frame or a slight lighting adjustment is like, because using this as your monitor or something like that, or pulling focus from a distance, is not going to necessarily work for you, but you can use this as a reference easily on set. One thing I hope to see in the future is a screen protector, the perfect size for this monitor, and I'll link down below if I end up finding one of those for you guys. And I also hope that somebody builds a cage for this, because it is really solid and made of metal, although a nice cage on here for some other mounting options, or maybe the option to be able to rig a hood on here would be really cool as well. What it all really boils down to is this wireless video monitoring system right for you? If you're looking for a monitor in the $500 range, and you're also looking for a wireless video monitoring system, then it just makes sense to dive into a system like this VAXIS A5. If you have a VAXIS system already, then it's definitely a no-brainer, but I consider it a very good value for its price, considering everything that it can do. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more filmmaking gear tips and tutorials just like this one. Shoot for the stars, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.